Hi and welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost, where you get to choose your 5-minute investment. I'm your host, Sam Hicks, and I'll be discussing topics under the headings of business development, marketing, photography, and much more.
So, welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost. Now, we're very lucky, but I need to welcome back Phil. So, today, Phil and I are going to break down real-world strategy, sounds really high and falutin, to increase profitability without increasing market spend. So this is really important for small business. So today, we're going to continue our conversation with Phil East, profit acceleration expert, to explore 4 powerful profit-boosting strategies.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Sam. Now, last time we had a chat, we discussed cost cutting and raising prices. And so they're 2 of the simplest ways we can impact profit. But today we'll build on those while introducing 4 more.
Okay, so are you going to emphasise that these strategies work in unison rather than isolation? And I need you to explain that, Phil, because I'm a little slow.
Absolutely. So profit acceleration is like a domino effect. So each adjustment you make amplifies the next one. So as an example, $1 million message, or some people call it a USP or a market dominating position, or there's probably, what do you call it, Sam?
Well, a USP and a point of difference is slightly different. I used to use USP for a long time, but I don't know, I find that such an old term. But it's still relevant today. But I love the $1 million message. Love that.
Yeah. Well, I use that because just the fact of differentiating your business can make $1 million difference to your business. So, it can make your business stand out, and it reduces the need to compete on price. We'll talk about a compelling offer, which makes customers more likely to buy, and conversion rates skyrocket. Bundling increases the amount of people spend per transaction, which maximises the lifetime value of a customer. And lead generation, everyone wants more leads, but it ensures you have a steady flow of prospects so you can create more sales opportunities. So instead of just chasing one silver bullet, we layer small improvements that together can create exponential growth.
All right. Okay. So let's start with your $1 million message. Why is this the foundation, Phil? Tell us.
Well, if your message is weak, customers won't see why they should choose you over your competitors. Okay? Your $1 million message should make it obvious why you're the only logical choice. And remember that one of their choices is to actually do nothing. So you've got to actually inspire people to do something and do something with you. So if we look at a real estate agent, now this real estate agent, as a case study, they tripled their appointments. So they were struggling to attract motivated buyers and sellers. And their original pitch was, I help people buy and sell homes. So fairly generic. Yep. So the problem was it was just too generic. And every real estate agent can say this, and does say this, of course. There's no emotional connection. So prospects weren't intrigued about anything. There was no reason. And it didn't highlight any unique advantage over competitors. So we went through and worked out a new message, which really one of them settled on, I help families buy homes bigger than they thought they could afford.
Love that.
Okay. So all of a sudden, it's an intriguing message and shows a bit of a can-do. So we plugged that into our profit simulator, and it increased response rate by 300%. So people now ask, how do you do that? This tripled appointments with home buyers because prospects engaged immediately. Okay, it hooked them.
Yep.
And there's higher conversion rates because buyers were eager to work with someone who was offering them better value.
Phil, that's a huge transformation. 300%. Holy crap. That is huge. So instead of listing what they do, businesses really need to show how they create value for their clients or customers. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sam. It's inside reality versus outside perception. So, and if your message isn't compelling, your marketing can't work, no matter how much you spend.
Yeah. All right. So once you've got that compelling message, you need more leads. Every business needs leads, but just not any leads, Phil. Is that right?
Exactly. So more leads don't matter if they're not high quality leads. Okay. The conversion equation, as I like to call it, ensures your leads are qualified and more likely to buy. So the conversion equation is
You lost it, Phil. I'm so glad you lost it. You know, I have to write notes to keep up. We'll give you a second. So this is about the conversion equation. So what is the conversion equation, Phil? In simple terms, because you know I'm a bit slow.
All right. So we're going to start back again from here. Can you cut that bit out or not?
No, I love that. It's raw. And now you're rolling across the floor, Phil.
Oh, okay.
You can do it. I'm leaving it in. Go for it. Come on.
Oh, man. Okay. So with the conversion equation, if we use the case study of our child psychologist, okay, and child psychologists are limited in the way they can market themselves.
Yep.
And a lot of them only see the limitations. So a lot of their marketing is very generic. So if we focus on the conversion equation, this child psychologist 21x his revenue. So is struggling with low conversions despite getting website traffic. So instead of directly selling sessions, we built a nurturing system. So we got him a new headline, which highlighted one of his services, and the headline focused on the problem, which is, are you sick and tired of your child's tantrums and disobedience? Okay. So after that, we got their attention. We engaged them with discover a simple 60-second technique to instantly regain control. So I'm not that big a fan of the word control, but if you can see there, we talked about the problem they have that they don't want, and then we talked about the solution that they want that they don't have.
Yep.
Okay. And then we brought in an offer of a free parenting report and an email drip campaign. Okay. And so the report talked about the 60-second techniques to help you with your child. So when we plugged the results in, so in the profit simulator, the website conversion rate was 0. Okay. So, and then after, we had a 67% opt-in rate and a 12% conversion rate to paying clients. And so therefore revenue increased by a staggering 2,138%.
Wow.
Simply by the better messaging.
Wow. Now, I suppose question without notice, tell me a little bit about an email drip campaign. Phil, can you do that?
Yeah, so an email drip campaign is, or as we referred to there as a nurture sequence, is simply a way to continue to keep in contact with someone who's downloaded some information.
Yep.
To either provide them further information and offer support. So people have a bit of they tense up a bit when I talk about it because they say, I don't want to send out to people's emails and da-da-da. But if your emails are interesting to people and they're helping people, people are going to read them.
Yeah, full of value.
That's it. And if you have, on the other side of it, if you're sending out an email and your nurture sequence is buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, well, people aren't going to be interested in that either. So if you're helping people with great information, help them make good decisions for whatever problem they have, you're entitled to every now and again say, hey, I've got this great opportunity if you want to take advantage of it. So essentially
Good explanation. Thanks, Phil. All right. So we've got a 2,138% increase. So that's pretty incredible, Phil. So the conversion equation is just not about generating leads, but ensuring they're engaged, nurtured, and converted into paying customers.
Exactly, Sam. So people buy when they feel comfortable.
Yep.
So the right lead generation strategy does that for you automatically. It's not about lead volume. It's about lead quality and follow-up.
Yeah. All right. So once you've got those leads or more leads and you've nailed that compelling message, how does bundling fit into this?
Okay. So bundling increases your transaction size without adding extra work. So instead of selling one product, you package multiple high-value items together.
Okay. So have you got an example for that, Phil?
Okay, so I think this is one that people will have seen a bit. So we've got a home builder, and this home builder increased their profits by 73%. Okay, so the home builder, and they were at the time, things have gone up a little bit, but they were building $250,000 homes around that area. Okay, and they were struggling to stand out. So instead of discounting their prices, they introduced a $22,800 home entertainment and security system bundle. And we've probably heard of those sorts of things on offer before. So that would get them a 200 centimetre smart TV, high quality surround sound system, and a full home security system with surveillance. Okay, so the cost to the builder, even though it's valued at $22,800, was only $8,500 because they bulk purchasing and that sort of stuff. And then their installation, because it's a new home, their installation costs were lower than fitting it to an existing house. So before, they were selling 10 homes per year at $250,000. After, they sold 20 homes per year at $258,500. Okay. And their profits increased by 73%. So if you see there, even though they increased their price on their home, because it was still better value than their competitors. So it gives you the opportunity to not only sell more, but increase your price as well because you have a value offer.
All right, so that's incredible figures there, Phil. So instead of competing on price, they created a high-value offer that buyers just couldn't resist, could they?
That's right. So bundling eliminates price comparison and increases perceived value.
All right, so I'm keeping up, Phil. I know you'll be shocked.
We're sort of skimming the surface here, Sam.
It is very high level, but it's making me think, and that's what I'm hoping our listeners do, is that they have a bit of a think about their own situation, and if it can inspire them to help them, then we're doing our job. Yeah. So the last piece of the puzzle for today's episode is compelling offers. So what makes an offer compelling, Phil? I mean, there's offers and then there's offers.
That's right, and great value will do that.
Yeah.
So I refer to master marketer Dean Jackson a lot, but and he's one of his quotes is a compelling offer is 10 times more powerful than a convincing argument. Okay, so it's a lot easier to put a great value offer out there than try and convince and explain to someone why they should be doing something. So a compelling offer eliminates fear, removes obstacles to buying. And it's one of the best ways to do this is by offering more value instead of discounting.
Right.
So in there, if you see about fear, and also that's where you get your money back guarantees and your free trials and all this sort of stuff go into a compelling offer.
Yeah.
So if we go, I think we might have used this case study a little with one of our previous episodes, but we'll go back to it because it's a beauty.
Yeah.
And it talks a bit about bundling as well as a compelling offer. So we'll go back to our restaurant. It wanted to increase order values, but knew discounting would destroy margins. Okay. So instead of bundling to create higher, they use bundling to create higher perceived value. So their competitor was offering a meal for two at $80, and they went down the discounting route and gave a 25% discount. So the customer paid $60. Okay, and they were making $20 per meal.
Yeah,
their perceived value was $20 per meal.
Yep.
Okay, so what they got was they created the same $80 meal for two, added a bottle of wine that was retailing for $25, and a dessert each for $10 each, and they gave them to them for free.
Yeah.
Okay. So the customer perceived they were getting $45 instead of saving $20. Okay. So the profit, they actually got $27 per meal because the cost of those freebies were less than the retail.
Yep.
Okay. And so they, with the $27 per meal, that's a 37% increase over the discounted model, which is significant.
It is.
So the reasons this worked is because the customers felt they were getting, for the $45 extra, not $20. The restaurant only spent the $16 extra to provide the wine and the desserts, and the higher perceived value allowed them to charge more than their competitors.
All right. So if I get this right, they've charged the same price, they've increased the perceived value, and then they actually ended up making more profit at the end of it.
Exactly. And in this case, they could have actually increased their price to $90, and it still would have been a great offer whilst boosting profits even more. So people don't buy on price, they buy on value. And smart businesses add value instead of discounting.
Yeah, I hate that whole discounting thing with businesses. It's a real mindset, isn't it?
Slippery slope.
Oh, yeah, it sends shivers down my spine. So, Phil, this has been absolute gold. If listeners want to see how these strategies can apply to their own business, where can they go?
Okay, well, they could check out the Profit Acceleration Simulator.
Yep.
And I'll put the link in the
show notes
in the thing, because rather than read. So it's a free tool that shows how small changes in each area can lead to massive profit growth.
Okay.
So there's some instructions there and a little video that'll tell you how to use it.
Yep.
But you can run through some strategies, put in what difference you can make. It will monetize it. Now, it'll give you the opportunity. There's 12 strategies, and they're the fundamental strategies. It then gives you the option to really go deep and expand that out to 40. And so that'll produce a report for you. And it's a pretty comprehensive report with video explanations of each strategy.
All right, so this sounds like a real must-have tool. So for our listeners out there, the link that Phil has provided us is going to direct you to, as he said, the Profit Acceleration Software, or I like to shorten it down to its acronym, the PAS. It's a tool designed to help businesses, just like all of us, and it does this by analysing various aspects of a company's operations. It can, as Phil said, generate a customised 12-month roadmap by giving you that plan. And it helps you to prioritize strategies that can lead to significant revenue and profit increases. But the gold is then chatting to Phil, and I'll put his details again into the show notes. So, Phil, thanks again. And listeners, go to the show link and you'll see there a Biz Boost Profit Sim and start accelerating your profits today.
Yeah. And can I just add one thing, Sam?
You always can, Phil.
What you mentioned there before about the prioritising in the roadmap is extremely important. And what it will do, it will prioritise the biggest bang for your buck, easiest to implement, lowest cost.
Yeah.
And it will start there. So you'll be getting low to no cost results straight away.
Yeah. All right. Cool, Phil. That's a really good point to add. So this is part 1 of 3 series. So I'm lucky enough to have secured Phil for another 2 episodes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and tune in for part 2, where we're going to talk a little bit more about sales optimization and the client retention right here on the 5 Minute Business Boost podcast. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks for listening to the 5 Minute Business Boost. For more information, follow me on socials, sign up for my newsy, or check out my website to see how we can work together to reach your small business goals. Remember, anything is possible, especially in the northeast of Victoria. Until next time, cheerio.